Hi everyone, it's craftytinas. Today's video is an unusual size notebook using the We Are Memory Keepers cinch. This notebook is an unusual size. It is 5 3/4 by 5 inches, and I had to make it 5 inches tall because we are using 6-inch wallpaper border for this notebook. We're also using a split wire design, and this is so we can use up those little pieces that you have left over when you're making notebooks. Sometimes you end up with a couple of little loops left over and you might be tempted to throw this away. If you have 1 or 2, throw it away, but if you have 3, hang on to them. We're going to have a bunch of fun. Now this notebook is what I'm calling a travel journal. Hubby and I are planning on visiting some Florida state parks. We're also planning on checking out some new beaches, and we're going to look at campgrounds. So I wanted some way to record where we go and know what we liked and didn't like and when we went. So that's what this journal is for. And because this is an unusual size, I have you guys some papers to print out to fill it up. Let's talk about the book itself, and then we'll talk about all the supplies we need, and then we're going to make it. Now, stay tuned to the very end of this video because, like all the superhero movies you see, at the very end of this video, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what's coming next. So this notebook, again, is 5 inches tall, and it is 5 3/4 wide. I'm going to recommend you do 6 inches wide. I've already made this. I've already cut everything out to be 5 3/4. So for this video, this is the size we're going with. However, you will see why I wished I would have made it just a 1/4 of an inch larger. This notebook has 20 folded pages, 1 cardstock with tab, and 10 folded pages. It is double split wire. These are double loops, and the size of the wire is 9/16. And again, I used my little guide, which is also in another video. I show you how to make this. It is very handy. I use this every book to make sure I'm using the correct wire. So make sure you check out that video for the wire guide. Again, this is 9/16 wire. We're using 3 pieces and 3 pieces. We're not using a full piece of wire. This looks familiar because another video we made this coloring book using the same wallpaper border, but we did the half-page landscape. No, I'm sorry, this was a 5 by 7. And we added crayons, stickers, and coloring pages. So if you do buy a roll of the 6-inch wallpaper border, there are other notebooks you can make, not just this one. But this little guy, his face is just too cute. So let's go over what's inside the book, and then we're going to talk about what you need to make it. This notebook has a clear pocket in the front. I have chosen to put some Post-it notes in. And this is not a full pack of Post-it notes. This is like a half pack from a Dollar Tree Post-it note. I was going to put in my Florida State Park pass, but this pocket is very loose and open because it's made to be like that. This is actually a shaker pocket that you use for card making, and I cut it in half. So I didn't think it was a good idea to put my annual pass in this little pocket, but I really like the clear look holding my Post-it notes. This is my travel log. I have made a clear section here so that I can put either a printed out photo, a sticker, or anything I want to describe where we went. I put where, so I could put the name and the address, when, the date, and then I even put a little place here for stars, so I can tell you if it's a 1-star or a 5-star accommodation. Then I added lines for my notes, and that's what I wanted to write down for all the places we are going. But sometimes when we go to places, I'm busy having fun. I don't want to sit and write legible, complete sentences, and I don't want to try to figure out what I meant to say when I go to look at this again. So I can simply take a Post-it note and slap it on here and just put my favorite points, my bad points, close it up, be done for the day. But when I get home, I'll have those notes. I can take the Post-it note off and write legibly and more clear what I want to say. So I really liked this idea. I'm calling this a travel journal. There are 20 pages, so that is 40 because they are front and back. And this gives you a lot of opportunities to put down places you're going. This could be used for a bunch of different things. It could just be used for a bike ride or a paddleboard adventure. There's so many options you could do with this. After the 20 pages, there is a cardstock with a tab, and I'm going to show you how to punch the tab and punch holographic vinyl and go on top of it. Normally you would put the holographic vinyl on the cardstock and punch, but these punches don't do too well when you get them really thick, so I'm going to show you how to do it separately so that you don't ruin your punch. And I wanted this tab so that I could easily find my lined pages. However, I really wish I would have made this 6 inches because the tab comes out just a little bit past the cover. And to avoid that, I would have needed to make this 6 inches. No big deal. It's okay if you make it 5 3/4. It does still work. This tab is just the same color cardstock, but I added holographic vinyl. This helps it be sturdy. It helps you grab it faster, provides it a thicker surface to grab, but it also will keep it from wearing out. And once you wear out a tab, it's really hard to find it. And that is our little book. We have the matching or corresponding paper, front and back. Different paper, but corresponding to the theme on the top and the bottom. So let's figure out what we need to make and get making. These are shakers. You buy them on Amazon. They come in a variety of sizes. This one happens to be the 5 1/4 by 4. I simply cut it in half. Doesn't even have to be exact, but now you've got 2 pockets. After you cut it in half, there is a film on the top and the bottom that you remove. That's why it's so cloudy. And it is perfectly clear and beautiful. It already has the score lines, but it doesn't have the adhesive. Some of them come with the adhesive. If it doesn't, you're simply going to use score tape. And that is how to make the pocket, or that is the supplies for the pocket. We are going to make the pocket. The next thing is this punch to make the tab. And it is a double-sided tab. It is not the We Are Memory Keeper one that is only one-sided. I'm going to show you how to punch it and how to punch the clear vinyl and how to layer them. And then we have our supplies. The supplies are the same with any notebook. You are going to need a front and back cover, and in this case, it is going to be 5 3/4 by 5 inches. You're going to need 2 pieces that are going to be the inside piece of your book, the pretty paper on the inside, and this needs to be 1/4 of an inch smaller than 5 by 5 3/4. So this is 5 1/2 by 4 3/4. You're going to need your pages. And again, I printed out 20 of the first page, and I printed 10 of the back page. For these pages, they're on my Facebook page. There are 3 in total, so you have choices. You can get the travel folded, and it starts out with the size. This is a lined paper, and it's the travel folded, which means it has the words and it's folded. This one is the stamp folded. You can add a stamp here or anything you would like. And this one is simply the lined folded. And all of these are for this size notebook. They are 5 by 5 1/2. Now the simplest way to do is to fold this in half. Now you have your 5 1/2. Now you need your 5. You simply go to the 5 inches and cut. And when you cut that off, you're going to get this little piece of paper that appears to be worthless. However, save these. We are going to make another notebook in another video with our scraps because I did not want to throw away this much paper. This is a perfect size. It is 3 1/2 wide by 5 1/2 long. So this is going to be a great notebook. So we're going to save our extras. These papers are all on my Facebook page, and the link will be in the comments of this video, or in the description, I'm sorry. So you have all of your pages, 20 folded, 10 folded, and 1 piece of cardstock. And the piece of cardstock is 5 inches by 5 3/4. Your little wires are 9/16, and you need 2 of them that have 3 double loops. We have our chipboard, our insides, our pages, and our wires. That just leaves our covers. Now our covers are wallpaper border. So I purchased this for the camper, had some left over, and I've been making notebooks with it. We are going to make covers using this adhesive vinyl. So let's get started. The good thing about borders is each end is very easy to get started. And you're only cutting your pieces here and here. This is already 6 inches, and we need it to be 1 inch bigger. So because this is 6 inch, that's why this is 5. This is 5 3/4. So I did this one 7. I know it's larger than a 1/2 inch on each side, but I just wanted to make it even. So this is 7 by 6. We're going to pull this backing off. And it's easier if you only pull a little bit off. Line it up on a grid or something so that you can see what a 1/2 inch is. Now top and bottom I'm just winging it, but I want only a 1/2 inch in the beginning because I don't want it to take too much and come over here and there not be enough sticky to hold it. And then you can just reach in and grab your backing and pull it out while you go across. And this keeps you from having air bubbles in the other side or any kind of wrinkles. Then we are going to clip our corners. Remember not to go all the way to the corner and clip everything, but to get close enough so that there's not so much overlay that your corner is bulky. It's a practice thing. There's no real true rhyme or reason. It's just practice, and you want to get close but not go all the way. Wrap it around and start from the center and work your way out. That's my favorite method, starting in the center and work your way out on each side. Now this is very thick vinyl, so make sure you press it down really well. And you see how skinny this little area is over here compared to this one. I didn't quite get it even, and you're going to see that it doesn't matter. We're not aiming for perfection. When you finish, it will look great. So we can just go with it. The next thing I want to add is my inside piece. This is the piece that goes inside your notebook, and it needs to be slightly smaller than your actual notebook. This keeps the edges from pulling up with wear. In order to secure this, I'm going to use double-sided tape. This is double-sided paper, so you can choose which side you want. It's great to get a scrapbook pad or a scrapbook kit to make these, because then you have all kinds of paper that matches and corresponds with each other. Yes, we are using Squeaky today. I simply put a few, you want to make sure you get all of the edges all the way around and then put a few extras in the center. And then we are not going to use any kind of measuring or guides. We're just going to eyeball it and get it in the center. Now that we've placed this down, you cannot tell that one side had more vinyl than the other. So when in doubt, always add extra vinyl just so that you're covered if you don't feel like you can get it centered enough to get it in there. And now we have our pretty little cover. So let's make our back. Or our front, it depends. You can use either side. We're going to once again just take off a small amount If you fold it, it will stay back out of your way without hitting the camera. Then we are going to place this in here, semi-centered, and that is not even close to being semi-centered. Sorry about that. I'm having to look over around the camera, so sometimes it doesn't work out perfect. There we go, that's much better. Then just pull the backing as you're laying this down. And see, that looks much better, but there's still not exactly the same amount on all four sides, and it's not necessary. We're going to clip our corners. It is best to remove your corner before you go to the next one, because these little corners go everywhere. Now we have our corners gone. We're going to fold it in, starting in the middle and working our way out. Start in the middle, work your way out. In the middle, work your way out. In the middle, and work your way out. And again, smoothing it down really well. Make sure that sticks to the cardstock. I'm sorry, chipboard. I should have mentioned that that chipboard is 30-point chipboard. I get it on Amazon. Now we need to add the inside again. We're going to use Squeaky. This is a double-sided tape. You can use Mod Podge or glue, anything that will stick this permanently to the inside. If you go over the edges, just flip it around. And then we're going to eyeball it in the center and mash it down. And now we can't tell what had more vinyl on what side. So now we have our two covers, and I really love the little yellow fish, so that might be my front instead of this one. I think it's going to be, just because my other book was mainly the dolphin. I think this book needs to be the fish. I chose to use yellow binding to bring out the yellow in this book. But remember, these are tiny little art projects, so you can use any colors you want. Now that we have the two bindings, the covers, we have all of our pages with the yellow cardstock dividing them. We're going to put them together the way we want them. And we are going to cinch them, and then we are going to add our pocket and our tab. You can do it before you cinch. I like to get it cinched to make sure everything's good before I add anything. Because if I make any mistakes or accidents, yeah, I'm going to have to cover it up somehow. So I like to leave my options open. We are going to put this out to the side. Now you're going to need your craftytinas cinch log. And this is a new size, so it is a new addition to our log. We want to do a split wire measurement, which means 2 pieces of wire with space in between them, and that's what we did here. Since we're using 5-inch, that is the side the wires go on. This log does not care how big your notebook is. It only wants the measurement where the wires are going to go. And in this case, it's on the 5-inch side. So we're going to follow the 5-inch description. The first thing we're going to do is the number of holes is 3 and 3. Our slider, which is this thing right here, that is our slider, needs to be set to the 1-inch mark. That means all the way in. 1 inch is all the way in. The slider cannot go any further. The next thing we need to do is push 1 through 3. 1, 2, 3. We need to pull 4 through 12. Push in 1 through 3, pull out 4 through 12. We only want 1, 2, and 3 to punch. We do not want the rest. You are not going to punch 3 holes and 3 holes. You're going to punch 3 holes. You're going to flip it and punch 3 more holes. Punch, flip, and punch. So let's do our front and back first. Now I want to stack them the way they're going to be on the notebook. This is my front, this is my back. Now I'm going to go face down into the machine all the way to the back and all the way to the left. I'm going to hold both of them and I'm going to punch. I don't know what is with this camera being in my way tonight. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to flip it upside down. Going to put it back in and punch again. And by doing that, I have 3 holes at the top, 3 holes at the bottom, and I have the exact amount of spacing on top and bottom, exactly the same. Cool trick? Now I can use these pretty little scrap pieces of wire. But let's punch all of our pages. Because this notebook is 5 inches and the pages are 5 inches, this is already set where we need it. So let's punch. This is where the wire goes, and I've allowed enough allowance on both sides for the wires. Face down, all the way to the back, and all the way to the left. Flip, face down, or flip so that you're on the other side. All the way in the back and all the way to the bottom, to the left. I'm going to do this with the rest of them. Face down. I'm going to bring you guys up a little because I keep hitting the camera. You see how easy this one is after you've got your measurements for the very first one. You simply punch, flip, and punch. And now we have all of our pages, our front cover, our back cover. We are ready to assemble. So make sure you go to my Facebook page and print this out. It has a ton of different size notebooks. I just added the 4.5 with the 7 holes for someone who requested it. I do take requests. Remember, this is only the measurement for the side that the holes are going to go into. This machine does not care how big it is. It only cares about what size you're punching the holes on. So now we don't need that. We are going to hang our little wire, and being only 3, it's only hanging very small. So it's only hanging by 1. I want to put this on the other side to hang it so that I really know where it needs to hang. And it might not fit properly on all of the sizes that we do, but this one it does happen to fit. I want to add everything that's inside the book, not the cover and back, first, in the order that you want them in. Then you're going to put your cover on top. Then you're going to put your back side down to match the front side so that you're seeing the inside of the back cover. This is important because this is where your seam is going to be, and you want it inside your book, not outside. My seam is inside my book instead of being on the outside where you can see it. Now you're going to need to hold both sides because you have 2 separate independent wires. For the most part, they will stay in there. You're going to flip your machine around, and you're going to make sure you set your settings to the size wire. This is 9/16. There is no 9/16, but there is a half. 9/16 is 1/16 above a half. So it is barely above a half. So I put 1 click above the half. I'm going to cinch one side at a time, and you're going to put this in where these 2 open ends are flush to the back. I know a lot of people have questions on cinching and making sure the wires are correct. So my wires, the open ends, that's this, and this, are all the way flush to the back. And I'm using my book to hold them there. I only want the first 3 inside. I don't want these 3. Now I'm going to cinch, and now I have rounded wires that closed all the way. I'm going to go to the other side so that these that are cinched are outside the space. I'm going to do the same thing where these have to go up against the back all the way. And cinch, and now I have my perfect wires. I'm glad I was able to get that view for you guys because that's important. You're going to want your circles need to be round so that they flow nicely and your pages turn. But sometimes it's hard to see what I'm doing. So now that we have our actual notebook, we have the front, we have the back, we've cinched our wire. Let's go do our tab. Tab is a super simple thing to do. This punch came from Amazon, and I will put the link in for you. You simply need to fold a piece of cardstock, and it needs to be, this is 3/4 folded over. The tab has to have enough room. Flip it over so that you can see the back. The folded edge goes in first, and it rests along this piece right here. You can't put it in there anymore. And you want to punch. So you don't want to go off your piece on the folded part. You go up to the folded line and punch it out. But you also need to add this. This is just clear, pretty little holographic vinyl. Super hard to see on the camera, but in person it is beautiful. It is also another Amazon purchase, and I'll put the link in there for you. You need to fold it. This punch requires it to be folded in order to make the tab go on the page correctly. You can use your bone folder. You don't have to struggle like I am. Now you also put it in the same exact way with the fold first. Goes all the way up, and make sure that the entire little area there is covered, and punch. So I wanted my tab in the center, and this is a 5-inch. One, two, three, four, 5. So this inch right here is the center. So if I put my tab there and only have it stick out a little bit, that's going to be centered. So I want to put adhesive on my tab for the inside. I don't know if you guys can hear the cat crying. She wants out of the craft room. She's not happy. So the tab is going to go centered. I don't want it to stick out too much because I didn't make my book big enough, so I'm happy with there. And close. And now it has adhesive front and back, and it's very secure to the paper. But now I want to add this to my tab so that it can be sturdy, it can be not easily worn out. So I'm only opening it halfway where that folded line is. And all you do is lay it directly on there, and it's actually easier than it looked. Okay, cat is out of the craft room. Sorry. Who else has a cat that loves to help craft until they're in the way? So now I have the holographic vinyl on top of the tab. I can flip it over, pull the backing off as I lay it down, and I have no wrinkles, no gaps, and it is on there perfectly. You can tell by the shine that it went beautifully on there. So if you don't have a silhouette, or you don't have a Cricut and you want to make these and you want to add some vinyl, you don't have to use holographic. You can use clear. You could even use colored vinyl if you want, if you just want a tab to be sturdy. The next thing we need to do is add the pocket to the front. Now I already have my plastic ready, and I'm going to add it here to the front. I'm using score tape because it is stronger than my tape glider. Because this is a shiny surface, more than likely normal tape is not going to want to stick. And because this is totally clear, it is super hard to see. I went past the plastic, but with score tape it tears very easy. It's one of the benefits of score tape is you don't need scissors, you can just, I told you guys these little triangles go everywhere. So you're going to add a piece to all 3 sides. And because we cut it in half, there are only 3 sides because it already has the score mark there. So it already has the mark to fold it on. So I'm going to fold it on its own score mark. And now I want to add the last piece. And it is super hard to see when it's clear. Anything hanging over, we just simply take off. And now we are ready to add it to the front. You could add a pocket to the front and the back if you would like. I wanted it in the front for my Post-it notes. So the first thing I did was I made sure that my score lines were indeed scored, because again, this is plastic, it's not paper. And the first thing I did was I did the bottom piece. This way you can line it up straight before you do your sides. Just remove the paper, and then standing it up, just line it up with the bottom. I want to make sure this is the correct. Okay. And I simply just lined it up with the edge border of that inside page. Now, in order to make sure that I lay this flat, because like I said, it is very puffy because it's made to be a shaker, I took one side off at a time and it worked out very well. Pull your paper off, lay your plastic down before you do your side. And now you can't see the score tape back there. It like blends in instantly. And now I can take this side off. Doing the same thing, get it ready, but don't press it down until you know your pocket is flat. And now we can press that side down. And this makes this really cool, clear pocket. I mean, it doesn't lay flat, so it's easy to get things in and out. It's easy to put your Post-it notes in there. Like I said, this is only a half pack. It's not a whole pack of Post-it notes, but it fits in really well. So now we have our travel journal made with wallpaper border, so it's really cute, very beachy. I am not going to add the elastic strap to hold this because I'm going to be doing a video comparing the Crocodile to the Big Bite. I have the Big Bite coming in today because I need it for another project. So I'm going to compare the two, and I need notebooks in order to show you guys how to use it and how to compare the two. So this is going to have an elastic strap. Hopefully it might cover up the dolphin a little bit, but that's okay. So make sure you like and subscribe so that you'll know when I do that video, you'll be able to see the elastic strap on it. So that is my travel journals. Odd size, but they actually come out really nice. This is actually a pretty good size. If you're going to put this in your glove compartment, it would fit very well. Now, as I promised you, watching all the way to the end, you're going to get a sneak preview. I'm not going to show you the inside of the book because that would give too much away, but this is my fairy storybook. And guys, the inside is absolutely adorable. It is a split and it is also a 5x7, and there's a reason it's a 5x7 because you're not going to believe what's on the inside. This is going to be the next video. I believe I will be releasing it tomorrow, so make sure you come back or you hit that subscribe button so that you're notified. This is a very different notebook on the inside. We're going to have lots of fun. I will tell you that it has color your own stickers. These cute little fairies. They're done on sticker paper so that you can color them yourself and add them to what's behind this page. So just like the superhero movies, stay tuned for the next sequel because it's a lot of fun coming your way. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. The more likes and subscriptions I get, the more notebooks I'm going to make. Have a great day, and as always, guys, happy crafting.